The Galactic Assembly chamber fell silent as Admiral Elizabeth Morgan strode confidently to the podium. The human representative stood out among the alien delegates not just for her species, but for her composure. Humans were still newcomers to interstellar politics, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 70 Earth years prior. Many species viewed them as primitive upstarts. Today would change that perception forever. Distinguished representatives, Admiral Morgan began, her voice steady despite the tension visible in her shoulders. I come before you to address the recent aggression against human colonies in the Arcturus sector. The Vexar ambassador, a tall, six-limbed being with glossy black exoskeleton, shifted uncomfortably. His species had been testing human boundaries for months, probing defenses and conducting military exercises near human space. 3 days ago, Morgan continued, a fleet of unmarked ships attacked our scientific outpost on Arcturus IV. 27 researchers died. The attackers left no survivors. Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Admiral's blue eyes swept across the gathering. While the ships bore no official markings, our analysis confirms Vexar technology signatures. The Vexar ambassador rose to protest. These accusations are baseless. We had no involvement. I haven't finished, Ambassador. Morgan's voice cut through his objections like a plasma blade. Before our outpost went dark, they transmitted all sensor data to Earth Command. The holographic display behind her activated, showing detailed tactical information about the attacking fleet. We know exactly who attacked us, how they did it, and under whose orders. Her gaze locked with the Vexar ambassador. The Federation has always viewed humans as weak because we seek peaceful solutions. Some mistake our preference for diplomacy as fear. Morgan pressed a button on her console. The holographic display shifted to show a massive fleet of human warships, assembled and ready. Humanity's history is filled with conflict. Before we united, we fought countless wars among ourselves. We've mastered combat in ways you cannot comprehend because you've never experienced the evolutionary pressure of fighting opponents with identical capabilities. The assembly grew restless. The Praxian delegate, an elder statesman respected throughout the galaxy, raised a tentacle. Admiral Morgan, is this a declaration of war? Morgan's expression softened momentarily. No, Elder Thos. It is a declaration of boundaries. She straightened, addressing the entire assembly again. Humanity has been patient. We've endured territorial incursions, resource theft, and diplomatic slights. We joined this federation in good faith, hoping to learn from species more experienced in galactic affairs. The display behind her changed again, showing historical footage of human conflicts throughout Earth's history. Ancient armies clashing with swords, tanks rolling across battlefields, naval vessels exchanging fire. What you failed to understand is that humans don't seek conflict. We've seen too much of it. But when provoked beyond reason, our response is decisive. Morgan's voice dropped lower, compelling everyone to lean forward. I am here to announce a new human policy. Provoke us and witness our response. The fleet you see assembled is not an offensive force. It is a promise. The Vexar ambassador chittered angrily. This is blatant intimidation. The Federation Council will not. The Federation Council, Morgan interrupted, has failed to uphold its own charter regarding the protection of member species. If you won't enforce your laws, we will defend ourselves. Elder Thos moved toward the center of the chamber. Admiral Morgan speaks truth we don't wish to hear. The Federation has allowed certain powers to act with impunity against newer members. The chamber erupted in protest and support. Morgan waited patiently until order was restored. You misunderstand humanity, she continued. We don't want your territories. We don't covet your resources. We simply want to exist without threat. But make no mistake, we remember Earth's history. We know the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Morgan's final statement silenced the chamber. Those who choose peace with humanity will find no better ally. Those who choose aggression will discover why, throughout our bloody history, humans have always prevailed against overwhelming odds. The Vexar ambassador stormed out as Morgan concluded her address. By evening, the unmarked ships had withdrawn from human territory. 2 weeks later, the Vexar government denied all involvement in the attack, but agreed to a formal treaty establishing clear boundaries with human space. Other species, watching carefully, began reassessing their approach to human relations. Admiral Morgan returned to Earth headquarters, where Fleet Commander Thomas waited in her office. "The diplomatic corps is furious," he said, sliding a data tablet across her desk. "They say you've undermined years of careful relationship building." Morgan reviewed the information: requests for trade negotiations, scientific exchanges, and diplomatic missions from a dozen species that had previously kept humans at arm's length. "Have I?" she asked with a slight smile. Thomas shook his head. "The Arcturus attack was a test. If we hadn't responded forcefully, we'd be facing more aggression, not respect." Morgan gazed out the window at the distant stars. "Humans learned conflict from fighting each other. We became strong because our enemies were just like us. Adaptable, unpredictable, relentless. The galaxy needs to understand that," Thomas agreed. "They're beginning to," Morgan replied. "Peace through strength isn't just an old Earth saying, it's the only language some understand." As she looked at the star map displaying human territory, small but now secure, Admiral Morgan knew their place in the galaxy had fundamentally changed. Humanity would no longer be seen as naive newcomers, but as a species that understood both the value of peace and the necessity of strength. The Federation had received its message: provoke humanity at your peril.